noticed how some people press your buttons, expecting the same response every time? But what happens when you stop reacting the way they expect? That's what I'm discussing today. But let me begin by introducing myself. I'm Kylie, a retired paramedic, and this is Everyday Ambo, where I share the life lessons I wish I'd known ahead of time. This is lesson number 12. Control is a team sport. You might have heard of the Mel Robbins let them theory. It suggests that instead of trying to control people, you let them do what they want and respond accordingly. Sounds simple, right? In fact, I've used this approach for years. It's an incredibly effective teaching tool because it allows others autonomy while giving me the right of reply. But here's the thing. It's not a game for new players. So here's the reality check. The let them theory is often recommended for dealing with people who manipulate behaviour using fear, guilt or shame. Let them get angry if they don't like your response. Let them guilt trip you for saying no. Let them give you the silent treatment if they don't like your behaviour. Why? Because it reveals who they truly are, giving you the clarity to decide your response. This sounds great, in theory. But why do people use these tactics in the first place? This is the root of human behaviour. Believe it or not, these manipulation tactics used to be common parenting strategies. They were passed down for generations, teaching children social skills, but also shaping counter-behaviour. That's why so many Gen Xers have spent years in recovery, undoing patterns of behaviour like people-pleasing, submission, and rebellion. It's also why parenting styles have evolved. So, does the let them theory actually work? That depends on who you use it on. I can see that there are 5 problems with the let them theory. Problem number 1 is sudden change triggers stress. Sudden change startles people. It activates their stress response. And here's the thing. Most people hate to feel out of control. Some so much that they construct their world around them to feel controlled, including the people, going as far as to eliminate those who threatened any of their perceived control. And this is what leads to problem 2, counter behaviour. Think of a vending machine. You press the button. It usually works, but suddenly it doesn't. What do? Most people don't walk away. They press harder. They shake the machine. They escalate. Human interaction works the same way. When you stop reacting the way that somebody expects, they try harder to trigger the familiar response. And if they can't get what they want, frustration builds, leading to anger and aggression. I learnt this can be incredibly dangerous, particularly around those who can't regulate their own emotions. They lose control and they rage. Nothing stops them until they can be overpowered. And if you're a 5'2" female in a confined space like I was, it can be very scary. And what if giving them control doesn't actually give them what they want? That creates another problem. Imagine a poker machine suddenly pays out every time you press the button. You keep pressing, right? But for how long? A day? A week? Perhaps until the novelty wore off. Not getting what you want can lead to aggression. Getting what you want can lead to boredom. But what about random results? Unpredictability creates addiction, and that's problem number 3. Random payouts at random intervals? That's why gambling is addictive. You never know when you'll win, so you keep trying. The same thing happens with inconsistent boundaries. If someone only sometimes follows through on the let them theory, it reinforces the behaviour instead of eliminating it. This happens when skills are limited, or the task is too difficult, or it's all too difficult, so we give up. When we give up, social contracts get disrupted. And this is problem number 4. We rely on social rules and contracts, laws, expectations, unspoken agreements. They shape behaviour. But when those rules suddenly change, people feel lost. Imagine if the police were making the laws up as they go. 1 minute, driving with your windows down is fine. The next, it's illegal. But you didn't know, because the rules only just changed. At first you might accept the mistake as your own error. But if it keeps happening, you'd feel frustrated, lost, even afraid, because there's no predictability. Our personal relationships operate the same, and when there isn't any structure, people either scramble to find patterns or they give up altogether. Imagine if you couldn't get the rules right at home. No matter what you do, it's never right. That's hard work. Too hard for some. And this leads to the biggest problem. Problem number 5. Many people don't know what to do with control. People who seek control often don't know how to handle it once they finally get it. Think of searching for lost keys. You keep looking because you don't have them. But once you find them, you stop searching, right? People seeking control feel out of control. That's why they are looking for it. But if they suddenly get control, they often don't know how to manage it or what to do with themselves once they find it. Imagine removing all laws overnight. Half the population wouldn't know how to govern themselves, while the other half wouldn't know how to cope with the unruly behaviour. It would be chaos. And that's why control is a team sport. And someone always takes the lead, because that's what feels most comfortable for everyone. But what if 2 people want to take control? Or the opposite, and no one wants to take control? What then? This is how wars and riots start. And they don't stop until there's a clear winner, or someone steps up, or stands down, whatever the case may be. If you've never used the let them approach, and you suddenly try, it might backfire. Because no one, not even you, may be ready for it. We all have an inner child, and they are all looking to grow up. But here's what I have learned. Only those who have already grown are truly up to the task of letting others. So the real test? See if you can get what you get without getting upset. And if a part of you does get upset, let them. Because that's how you grow too. I hope this lesson gives you a new way of thinking about control dynamics. Have you ever tried the let them theory? Did it work for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments section. And remember, control isn't a solo act. It's a team sport reliant on others to do their part. And if they don't, and you get upset, it might be you that has some work to do. See you in the next lesson.